The Matrix Reloaded is a 2003 American science fiction action film written and directed by the Wachowskis. It is the sequel to The Matrix, 1999, and the second installment in the Matrix film series. The film stars Keanu Reeves, Laurence Fishburne, Carrie Anne Moss, Hugo Weaving, and Gloria Foster, who reprise their roles from the previous film, with Jada Pinkett Smith joining the cast. In the film, Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity attempt to reach the source of the Matrix to end the war as Zion prepares for an invasion from the machines. The film premiered on May 7, 2003, in Westwood, Los Angeles, California, and had its worldwide release by Warner Brothers Pictures on May 15, 2003, including a screening out of competition at the 2003 Cannes Film Festival. 6. The video game Enter the Matrix and the Animatrix, a collection of short animations, supported and expanded the film's story. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, although most felt it inferior to the first film. It grossed $741.8 million worldwide, breaking Terminator 2, Judgment Day's record for becoming the highest-grossing R-rated film of all time, until Deadpool surpassed it in 2016. In addition to being the highest-grossing film in the franchise, it was the third highest-grossing film of 2003, behind The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King and Finding Nemo. 7. A direct sequel titled The Matrix Revolutions was released 6 months later on November 5, 2003. Plot: 6 months after escaping the Matrix, Neo and Trinity are now romantically involved. Morpheus receives a message from Captain Niobe of the Logos calling an emergency meeting of all ships of Zion. An army of Sentinels is tunneling towards Zion and will reach it within 72 hours. Commander Locke orders all ships to return to Zion to prepare, but Morpheus asks one ship to remain to contact the Oracle. But within the Matrix, Bane, a member of the crew, encounters the former Agent Smith. Smith forcibly overwrites his mind, effectively killing him and possessing his body. Thus able to enter the real world, he exits the Matrix. In Zion, Morpheus announces the news of the advancing machines. The Nebuchadnezzar leaves Zion and enters the Matrix, where Neo meets the Oracle's bodyguard Seraph, who leads him to her. The Oracle reveals that she is part of the Matrix and instructs Neo to reach its source with the help of the Keymaker. As the Oracle departs, Smith appears, telling Neo that he became a rogue program after being defeated by him. He demonstrates his ability to clone himself over other inhabitants of the Matrix, including the new upgraded agents. He tries to take over Neo's body but fails, prompting a battle between Neo and many copies of Smith. Neo defends himself, but is forced to retreat. Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity visit the Merovingian, who is imprisoning the Keymaker. The Merovingian, a rogue program with his own agenda, refuses to let him go. His wife Persephone, seeking revenge on her husband for his infidelity, leads the trio to the Keymaker. Morpheus, Trinity, and the Keymaker flee while Neo holds off the Merovingian's henchmen. Morpheus and Trinity try to escape with the Keymaker, pursued by several agents and the Merovingian's chief henchman, the twins. After a long chase, Trinity escapes, Morpheus defeats the twins, and Neo saves Morpheus and the Keymaker from Agent Johnson. The crews of the Nebuchadnezzar, Vigilant, and Logos help the Keymaker and Neo reach the source. The Logos crew must destroy a power plant and the Vigilant crew must disable a backup power station to bypass a security system, allowing Neo to enter the source. Haunted by a vision of Trinity's death, he asks her to remain on the Nebuchadnezzar. The Logos is successful, but the Vigilant is destroyed by a Sentinel. Trinity replaces the Vigilant crew and completes their mission. Agent Thompson corners her and they fight. As Neo, Morpheus, and the Keymaker try to reach the source, the Smiths ambush them. The Keymaker is killed after unlocking the door to the source for Neo. Neo meets a program called the Architect, the creator of the Matrix, who explains that, as the One, Neo is an intentional part of the design of the Matrix, which is now in its 6th iteration. Neo is meant to stop the Matrix's fatal system crash that naturally recurs due to humans' free will, leading to dozens of humans gradually refusing to accept the simulation. As with the 5 previous ones, Neo has a choice: either reboot the Matrix from the source and pick a handful of survivors to repopulate the soon-to-be destroyed Zion, as his predecessors all did, or go to save the imperiled Trinity, causing the Matrix to crash and killing everyone in it. Neo chooses the latter, prompting a dismissive response from the architect. Neo's vision of Trinity comes true as she is shot by Agent Thompson while falling off a building. Before she hits the ground, Neo arrives and catches her. He then removes the bullet from her chest and restarts her heart. They return to the real world, where Sentinels attack them. The Nebuchadnezzar is destroyed, but the crew escapes. As the Sentinels catch up to them, Neo realizes he can sense the machines in the real world, and telepathically destroys them but falls into a coma. The crew are picked up by another ship, the Mjolnir. The Mjolnir's captain reveals that the machines wiped other ships defending Zion after someone prematurely activated an EMP. Only one survivor was found, the Smith-possessed Bane, who lies beside Neo in the medical bay, also unconscious. Cast: Keanu Reeves as Neo, Laurence Fishburne as Morpheus, Carrie Anne Moss as Trinity, Hugo Weaving as Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith as Niobe, Harold Perrineau as Link, Gloria Foster as the Oracle, Randall Duck Kim as the Keymaker, Monica Bellucci as Persephone, Lambert Wilson as the Merovingian, Helmut Bacchaidis as the Architect, Nathaniel Lees as Captain Mifune, Neil and Adrian Raymond as the twins, Daniel Bernhard as Agent Johnson, Lee Wannell as Axel, Colin Joe as Seraph, Nona Gay as Z, Gina Torres as Ka, Donald Anjabat as Vector, Anthony Zerb as Counselor Hammond, Roy Jones Jr. as Captain Ballard, David Agild as Agent Jackson, Matt McComb as Agent Thompson, Harry Lennox as Commander Locke, Cornel West as Counselor West, Steve Bastoni as Captain Soren, Anthony Wong as Ghost, Ian Bliss as Bane, Clayton Watson as the Kid, Malcolm Kennard as Abel, Genevieve O'Reilly as Officer Words, Tori Mussett as Beautiful Woman at El Ivre, Essie Davis as Maggie. Z was originally played by Aaliyah, who died in a plane crash on August 25, 2001, before filming was complete, requiring her scenes to be reshot with Nona Gay. 8-9 Pinkett Smith declined her role in Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps in order to star in The Matrix Reloaded. 10 Jet Li was offered the role of Seraph, but turned it down as he did not want his martial arts moves digitally recorded. 11. Production: the coat that Neo wears in The Matrix. Filming: The Matrix Reloaded was mostly filmed at Fox Studios in Australia. Filming began on March 1, 2001, and ended on August 21, 2002, concurrently with the filming of the second sequel, Revolutions, and the live-action footage for the Enter the Matrix video game. The freeway chase and burly brawl scenes were filmed at the decommissioned Naval Air Station Alameda in Alameda, California. The producers constructed a 1.5-mile freeway on the old runways specifically for the film. Some portions of the chase were also filmed in Oakland, California, and the tunnel shown briefly is the Webster Tube, which connects Oakland and Alameda. Some post-production editing was also done in old aircraft hangars on the base. The city of Akron, Ohio was willing to give full access to Route 59, the stretch of freeway known as the Inner Belt, for filming of the freeway chase when it was under consideration. However, producers decided against this as the time to reset all the cars in their start position would take too long. 12 General Motors was hired to donate over 300 cars to be used during production, destroying them for the sake of creating art. 13 Mythbusters would later reuse the Alameda location in order to explore the effects of a head-on collision between two semi-trucks, and to perform various other experiments. It took 27 days to film the burly brawl sequence, which was combined with motion capture and CGI. 14. This would become one of the most expensive action scenes, costing $40 million to make. 15. Around 97% of the materials from the sets of the film were recycled after production was completed. For example, tons of wood were sent to Mexico to build low-income housing. 16. Visual effects. Following the success of the previous film, the Wachowskis came up with extremely difficult action sequences, such as the Burly Brawl, a scene in which Neo had to fight 100 Agent Smiths. To develop technologies for the film, Warner Bros. Launched ESC Entertainment. 17. The ESC team tried to figure out how to bring the Wachowskis' vision to the screen, but because bullet time required arrays of carefully aligned cameras and months of planning, even for a brief scene featuring 2 or 3 actors, a scene like the Burly Brawl seemed almost impossible as envisioned and could take years to composite. Eventually, John Gator realized that the technology he and his crew had developed for The Matrix's bullet time was no longer sufficient and concluded they needed a virtual camera, in other words, a simulation of a camera. Having before used real photographs of buildings as texture for 3D models in The Matrix, the team started digitizing all data, such as scenes, characters' motions, or even the reflectivity of Neo's cassock. The reflectivity of objects needs to be captured and simulated adequately, and Paul Debovec et al. Captured the reflectance of the human face, and Borshikov's work was strongly based on the findings of Debovec et al. They developed universal capture, a process which samples and stores facial details and expressions at high resolution, then capture expressions from Reeves and Weaving using dense capture and multi-camera setup, similar to the bullet time rig, photogrammetric capture technique called optical flow. 18. The algorithm for universal capture was written by George Borshikov, visual effects lead at ESC, who had also created the photorealistic buildings for the visual effects in The Matrix. With this collected wealth of data and the right algorithms, they finally were able to create virtual cinematography in which characters, locations, and events can all be created digitally and viewed through virtual cameras, eliminating the restrictions of real cameras, years of compositing data, and replacing the use of still camera arrays or, in some scenes, cameras altogether. The ESC team rendered the final effects using the program Mental Ray. 17. Music. See also, The Matrix Reloaded, the album, and The Matrix Reloaded, score. Don Davis, who composed for The Matrix, returned to score Reloaded. For many of the pivotal action sequences, such as the Burly Brawl, he collaborated with Juno Reactor. Some of the collaborative cues by Davis and Juno Reactor are extensions of material by Juno Reactor. For example, a version of Comet featuring Davis strings is used during a flying sequence, and Burly Brawl is essentially a combination of Davis' unused multiple replication and a piece similar to Juno Reactor's Masters of the Universe. One of the collaborations, Mona Lisa Overdrive, is titled in reference to the cyberpunk novel of the same name by William Gibson, a major influence on the directors. Leitmotifs established in The Matrix return, such as the Matrix main theme, Neo and Trinity's love theme, the Sentinels theme, Neo's flying theme, and a more frequent use of the 4-note Agent Smith theme and others used in Revolutions are established. As with its predecessor, many tracks by external musicians are featured in the movie, its closing credits, and the soundtrack album, some of which were written for the film. Many of the musicians featured, for example Rob Zombie, Rage Against the Machine, and Marilyn Manson, had also appeared on the soundtrack for The Matrix. Rob Dugan also recontributed, licensing the instrumental version of Furious Angels, as well as being commissioned to provide an original track, ultimately scoring the battle in the Merovingian's chateau. A remixed version of Slap It by electronic artist Fluke listed on the soundtrack as Zion was used during the rave scene. Linkin Park contributed their instrumental song session to the film as well, although it did not appear during the course of the film. POD composed a song called Sleeping Awake, with a music video which focused heavily on Neo, as well as many images that were part of the film. Both songs played during the film's credits. It was originally planned for the electronic band Röyksopp to create the soundtrack, but this offer was turned down. 19. Reception. Box office. The Matrix Reloaded earned an estimated $5 million during Wednesday night previews in the United States and Canada. It grossed $37.5 million on its Thursday opening day from 3,603 theaters, which was the second highest opening day after Spider-Man's $39.4 million. 20. The film earned $91.7 million during its opening weekend and $134.3 million in its first 4 days, including the previews. 21. This made it not only the second highest opening weekend of all time, but also the biggest opening weekend for any Warner Brothers film, beating Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. 22. For 6 years, the film would hold the record for having the largest number of screenings for an R-rated film until the opening of Watchmen in March 2009. 23. The Matrix Reloaded also surpassed Star Wars, Episode II, Attack of the Clones to have the highest Thursday opening. 24-25. It would hold this record for 2 years until it was taken by Star Wars, Episode III, Revenge of the Sith in 2005. 26. Additionally, the film had the highest opening weekend for an R-rated film, overturning the previous record held by Hannibal. 27-25. With a total gross of $146.9 million, The Matrix Reloaded held the record for having the biggest sixth-day opening until 2004, when it was surpassed by Spider-Man 2. 28. In its second weekend, it would be overtaken by Bruce Almighty, earning a 4-day Memorial Day weekend gross of $45.6 million. 29. Then, The Matrix Reloaded collected $15.6 million for its third weekend, ranking fourth behind the latter film, Finding Nemo, and The Italian Job. 30. The opening weekend represented roughly 60% of that weekend's box office tally, but some box office prognosticators noted it fell short of lofty expectations set by some in the industry. 31. Overall, the film would maintain the highest May opening weekend for Warner Brothers until it was beaten by Godzilla a decade later in 2014. 32. The Matrix Reloaded and Finding Nemo both teamed up with Bruce Almighty, X2 and Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl to become the first 5 films to make $200 million at the box office in a single summer season. 33. This was also the fourth R-rated film to cross that mark, just after Beverly Hills Cop, Terminator 2, Judgment Day and Saving Private Ryan. 34. It would remain as the year's top-grossing film until Finding Nemo overtook it in July. 35. Internationally, The Matrix Reloaded opened in 13 territories, including Australia and France, and grossed $37.5 million in its first week. 36. It expanded to most international territories, 62, the following weekend, except Japan and India, and became the first movie to earn more than $100 million outside the US in one weekend, taking its overseas total to $176 million and worldwide total to $385 million. 36. 37. Grossing over $113.2 million, the film scored the highest international opening weekend, breaking the previous record held by The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. 38. In Japan, it had the biggest opening of any film in the country, earning $18 million, and smashing the previous record held by Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. 39. It was also the country's highest-grossing R-rated film until The Last Samurai surpassed it in early 2004. 40. There were other opening records in Russia and South Korea. 41. The Japan and South Korea opening records were both given to Spider-Man 3 in 2007. 42. In the United Kingdom, the film topped the box office for 4 weeks until it was overtaken by Too Fast, Too Furious. 43. The film ultimately grossed $281.6 million in the US, and $739.4 million worldwide, becoming the third highest grossing film of 2003, after Finding Nemo and The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. 7. It would have the highest domestic gross for an R-rated film until it was taken by The Passion of the Christ the next year. 44. For over a decade, The Matrix Reloaded held the record for being the highest grossing R-rated film worldwide before Deadpool took it 13 years later. 45. The film sold an estimated 46,695,900 tickets in North America. 46. Following re-releases, the worldwide gross of the film is $741.8 million. 5. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 74% based on 246 reviews, and an average score of 6.80/10. The site's critical consensus states, though its heady themes are a departure from its predecessor, The Matrix Reloaded is a worthy sequel packed with popcorn-friendly thrills. 47. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score 62 out of 100 based on 40 reviews, indicating generally favorable reviews. 48. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B+ on an A+ to F scale, a grade down from the A earned by the previous film. 49. Positive comments from critics included commendation for the quality and intensity of its action sequences. 50. And its intelligence. 51. Tony Toscano of Talking Pictures had high praise for the film, saying that its character development and writing is so crisp it crackles on the screen, and that Matrix Reloaded re-establishes the genre and even raises the bar a notch or two above the first film, The Matrix. 52. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times also commended the film, giving it 3.5 stars out of 4. He described it as an immensely skillful sci-fi adventure, combining the usual elements, heroes and villains, special effects and stunts, chases and explosions, romance and oratory, and praised the fact that it develops its world with more detail than the first movie was able to afford, gives us our first glimpse of the underground human city of Zion, burrows closer to the heart of the secret of the Matrix, and promotes its hero, Neo, from confused draftee to a Christ figure in training. He also compared the choreography of the burly brawl fight to that of Yuen Woo-ping in the 2000 film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and called the scene one of the 3 great set pieces in the movie, along with Morpheus' announcement to the people of Zion and the freeway chase. 53. Negative comments included the sentiment that the plot was alienating. 54. 55. With some critics regarding the focus on the action as a detriment to the film's human elements. 56. 57. Some critics thought that the number of scenes with expository dialogue worked against the film. 58. 59. And the many unresolved subplots, as well as the cliffhanger ending, were also criticized. 60. Other criticisms included the film's perceived lack of pacing. 61. Entertainment Weekly named it as one of the 25 worst sequels ever made. 62. Mark Salof of the Austin Chronicle gave it a 2.5 out of 5 rating, saying, "There's only so much Rubik's Cubism a film can handle, and Reloaded is awash in sci-fi and religious overtones that continually bog down the film's forward motion." 63. Mike Clark of USA Today gave the film 3.4 stars and said, "Salvaged by its rally, Reloaded seems less tired than X2, its current sequel rival." 64. A.O. Scott of the New York Times wrote, "Relax, the staging of the action sequences is as viciously elegant as you've been primed to expect, though there is a dispiriting more of the same aspect to the picture." 65. In a mixed review, Joe Morgenstern of the Wall Street Journal said, "In this second installment of the trilogy, lithe bodies endowed with superior brains do all sorts of spectacular things, but the movie has the dead soul of a video game." 66. Awards. Main article, list of awards and nominations received by the Matrix franchise. Censorship. The film was initially banned in Egypt because of the violent content and because it put into question issues about human creation, which are related to the 3 divine religions. 67. Home media. The Matrix Reloaded was released on VHS and DVD on October 14, 2003. 68. On the first day release, the DVD release sold over 4 million units. 69. A Blu-ray release followed on September 7, 2010. 70. The Matrix Reloaded was released as a part of the Matrix trilogy on 4K UHD Blu-ray on October 30, 2018. Keanu Charles Reeves, Keanu 07, born September 2, 1964, is a Canadian actor and musician. The recipient of numerous accolades in a career on screen spanning 4 decades, he is known for his leading roles in action films, his amiable public image, and his philanthropic efforts. In 2020, the New York Times ranked him as the 4th greatest actor of the 21st century, and in 2022 Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Born in Beirut and raised in Toronto, Reeves made his acting debut in the Canadian television series Hanjin in 1984, before making his feature film debut in Young Blood, 1986. He had his breakthrough role in the science fiction comedies Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, 1991. He gained praise for playing a hustler in the independent drama My Own Private Idaho, 1991, and established himself as an action hero with leading roles in Point Break, 1991, and Speed, 1994. Following several box office disappointments, Reeves's performance in the horror film The Devil's Advocate, 1997, was well received. Greater stardom came with his role as Neo in The Matrix, 1999. Reeves became the highest paid actor for a single production for reprising the role in its 2003 sequels Reloaded and Revolutions. He also played John Constantine in Constantine, 2005. Reeves made his film directorial debut with Man of Tai Chi, 2013. Following a period in which he enjoyed limited commercial success, he made a career comeback by playing the titular assassin in the action film series John Wick, 2014, present. Reeves voiced Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4, 2019, and portrayed Johnny Silverhand in the video game Cyberpunk 2077, 2020, as well as its expansion. He has since reprised his roles of Ted in Bill and Ted Face the Music, 2020, and Neo in The Matrix, Resurrections, 2021, and voiced Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, 2024. In addition to acting, Reeves is a member of the musical band Dogstar, releasing albums including Somewhere Between the Power Lines and Palm Trees, 2023. He is the co-writer and creator of the BRZRKR franchise, which started with the original comic book, 2021 to 2023, and since expanded to include numerous spin-offs, including the Book of Elsewhere, 2024. An avid motorcyclist, Reeves is the co-founder of the custom manufacturer Arch Motorcycle. He also co-founded the production company Company Films. Early life. Keanu Charles Reeves was born in Beirut, Lebanon, on September 2, 1964, the son of Patricia, née Taylor, a costume designer and performer, and Samuel Nowlin Reeves Jr. His mother is English, originating from Essex. His American father is from Hawaii, and is of native Hawaiian, Chinese, English, and Portuguese descent. 11. Reeves's paternal grandmother is of Hawaiian and Chinese descent. 13. His mother was working in Beirut when she met his father. 14. Who abandoned his wife and family when Reeves was 3 years old. Reeves last met his father on the Hawaiian island of Kauai when he was 13. 15. After his parents divorced in 1966, his mother moved the family to Sydney, Australia 16 and then to New York City, where she married Paul Aaron, a Broadway and Hollywood director, in 1970. 15. The couple moved to Toronto and divorced in 1971. When Reeves was 9, he took part in a theater production of Damn Yankees. 17. Aaron remained close to Reeves, offering him advice and recommending him a job at the Hedgerow Theater in Pennsylvania. 15. Reeves's mother married Robert Miller, a rock music promoter, in 1976, the couple divorced in 1980. Reeves and his sisters grew up primarily in the Yorkville neighborhood of Toronto, with a nanny frequently caring for them. 1518 Reeves watched British comedy shows such as The Two Ronnies, and his mother imparted English manners that he has maintained into adulthood. 19 Because of his grandmother's Chinese ethnicity, Reeves grew up with Chinese art, furniture, and cuisine. 20. Describing himself as a private kid, 21 Reeves attended 4 different high schools, including the Etobicoke School of the Arts, from which he was expelled. Reeves said he was expelled because he was just a little too rambunctious and shot my mouth off once too often. I was not generally the most well-oiled machine in the school. 22 Reeves has dyslexia and has said, because I had trouble reading, I wasn't a good student. 23 At De La Salle College, he was a successful ice hockey goalkeeper. Reeves had aspirations to play for the Canadian Olympic team and was once considered an old prospect, but his hockey career ended due to injury. 24 At the age of 15, he decided he wanted to become an actor. 25 After leaving De La Salle College, he attended Avondale Secondary Alternative School, which allowed him to get an education while working as an actor. Reeves dropped out of high school when he was 17. 26 He obtained a green card through his American stepfather and moved to Los Angeles 3 years later. 15 Reeves holds only Canadian citizenship. 8-9 Career. Main article, Keanu Reeves filmography. 1984 to 1990, early work. Reeves in 1986. In 1984, Reeves was a correspondent for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, youth television program Going Great. 27 That same year, he made his acting debut in an episode of the television series, called Hanjin In. 28 In 1985, he played Mercutio in a stage production of Romeo and Juliet at the Leopoldlands Theatre in North York, Ontario. 29-30 He made further appearances on stage, including Brad Fraser's cult hit Wolfboy in Toronto. He also appeared in a Coca-Cola commercial in 1983-31, and in the National Film Board of Canada, NFB, Coming of Age, short film One Step Away. 32 Reeves later said that, when he was looking for work in the mid-1980s, his agents advised him to go by a different name because his first name was too ethnic. He briefly initialized his first and middle name and attended auditions as Casey or Casey Reeves before reverting to Keanu. 33. In 1986, Reeves made a foray into television films, including NBC's Babes in Toyland, Act of Vengeance and Brotherhood of Justice. He made his first motion picture appearances in Peter Markle's Young Blood, in which he played a goalkeeper, and in the low-budget romantic drama, Flying. He was cast as Matt in River's Edge, a crime drama about a group of high school friends dealing with a murder case, loosely based on the 1981 murder of Marcy Renee Conrad. The film premiered in 1986 at the Toronto International Film Festival to a largely positive response. Janet Maslin of the New York Times describes the performances of the young cast as natural and credible, with Reeves being described as affecting and sympathetic. 34. In 1988, Reeves starred in several dramas aimed at teen audiences, including as the lead in The Night Before, a comedy starring opposite Lori Loughlin, The Prince of Pennsylvania and Permanent Record. Although the latter received mixed reviews, Variety magazine praised Reeves's performance, which opens up nicely as the drama progresses. 35 His other acting efforts included a supporting role in Dangerous Liaisons, which earned 7 nominations at the 61st Academy Awards, winning 3, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Costume Design, and Best Production Design. 36. In 1989, Reeves starred in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, in which he portrays a slacker who travels through time with a friend, portrayed by Alex Winter, to assemble historical figures for a school presentation. The film was generally well received by critics and grossed $40.5 million at the worldwide box office. 37 Film review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave the film a 79% approval rating with the critical consensus, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are just charming, goofy, and silly enough to make this fluffy time travel adventure work. 38 Reeves then starred in the comedy drama Parenthood directed by Ron Howard. Nick Hilditch of the BBC gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, calling it a feel-good movie with an extensive and entertaining ensemble cast. 39 In 1990, Reeves gave 2 acting performances. He portrayed an incompetent hitman in the black comedy I Love You to Death, and played Martin, a radio station employee in the comedy Tune In Tomorrow. He also appeared in Paula Abdul's music video for Rush Rush, which featured a rebel without a cause, 1955, motif, with him in the James Dean role. 40. 1991 to 1994, breakthrough with mature roles. In 1991, Reeves starred in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, a sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, with his co-star Winter. Michael Wilmington of the Los Angeles Times wrote that the sequel was more imaginative, more opulent, wilder, and freer, more excitingly visualized, praising the actors for their fuller performances. 41 Film critic Roger Ebert thought it was a riot of visual invention and weird humor that works on its chosen submoronic level. It's the kind of movie where you start out snickering in spite of yourself, and end up actually admiring the originality that went into creating this hallucinatory slapstick. 42 The rest of 1991 marked a significant transition for Reeves's career as he undertook adult roles. Co-starring with River Phoenix as a street hustler in the adventure My Own Private Idaho, the characters embark on a journey of personal discovery. The story was written by Gus Van Sant, and is loosely based on William Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1, Henry IV, Part 2, and Henry V. The film premiered at the 48th Venice International Film Festival 43, followed by a theatrical release in the United States on September 29, 1991. The film earned $6.4 million at the box office. 44 My Own Private Idaho was positively received, with Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly describing the film as a postmodern road movie with a mood of free-floating, trance-like despair, a rich, audacious experience. 45 The New York Times complimented Reeves and Phoenix for their insightful performances. 46. Reeves starred alongside Patrick Swayze, Lori Petty, and Gary Busey in the action thriller Point Break, directed by Catherine Bigelow. He plays an undercover FBI agent tasked with investigating the identities of a group of bank robbers. To prepare for the film, Reeves and his co-stars took surfing lessons with professional surfer Dennis Jarvis in Hawaii. Reeves had never surfed before. 47 Upon its release, Point Break was generally well received, and a commercial success, earning $83.5 million at the box office. 48 Reeves's performance was praised by the New York Times for considerable discipline and range, adding, "He moves easily between the buttoned-down demeanor that suits a police procedural story and the loose-jointed manner of his comic roles." 49 Writing for the Washington Post, Hal Hinson called Reeves the perfect choice and praised the surfing scenes, but opined that the filmmakers have their characters make the most ludicrously illogical choices imaginable. 50 At the 1992 MTV Movie Awards, Reeves won the Most Desirable Male Award. 51. In 1991, Reeves developed an interest in a music career. He formed the alternative rock band Dogstar, consisting of members Robert Mailhouse, Greg Miller, and Brett Domrose. Reeves played the bass guitar. A year later, he played Jonathan Harker in Francis Ford Coppola's gothic horror Bram Stoker's Dracula, based on Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula. Starring alongside Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, and Anthony Hopkins, the film was critically and commercially successful. It grossed $215.8 million worldwide. 52 For his role, Reeves was required to speak with an English accent, which drew some ridicule. Overly posh and entirely ridiculous, Reeves's performance is as painful as it is hilarious, wrote Limara Salt of Virgin Media. 53 In a retrospective interview in 2015, director Coppola said, "Reeves tried so hard, He wanted to do it perfectly, and in trying to do it perfectly it came off as stilted. 54 Bram Stoker's Dracula was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, winning 3 in Best Costume Design, Best Sound Editing and Best Makeup. 55 The film also received 4 nominations at the British Academy Film Awards. 56. In 1993, he had a role in Much Ado About Nothing, based on Shakespeare's play of the same name. The film received positive reviews. 57 Although Reeves was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actor. 58 The New Republic magazine thought his casting was unfortunate because of his amateur performance. 59 In that same year, he starred in 2 more drama films, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues and Little Buddha, both of which garnered a mixed to negative reception. 60-61 The Independent critic gave Little Buddha a mixed review but opined that Reeves's part as a prince was credible. 62 The film also left an impression on Reeves. He later said, "When I played this innocent prince who starts to suspect something when he has the first revelations about old age, sickness, and death, it hit me. That lesson has never left me." 63. In 1994, he starred in the action thriller Speed alongside Sandra Bullock and Dennis Hopper. He plays police officer Jack Traven, who must prevent a bus from exploding by keeping its speed above 50 miles per hour. Speed was the directorial debut of Dutch director Jan de Bont. Several actors were considered for the lead role, but Reeves was chosen because de Bont was impressed with his point-break performance. 64 To look the part, Reeves shaved all his hair off and spent 2 months in the gym to gain muscle mass. During production, Reeves's friend, and his My Own Private Idaho co-star River Phoenix died, resulting in adjustments to the filming schedule to allow him to mourn. 64 Speed was released on June 10 to a critically acclaimed response. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune lauded Reeves, calling him absolutely charismatic, giving a performance juiced with joy as he jumps through elevator shafts, and atop a subway train. 65 David Anson, writing for Newsweek, summarized Speed as, "relentless without being overbearing, this is one likely blockbuster that doesn't feel too big for its britches. It's a friendly juggernaut." 66 The film grossed $350 million from a $30 million budget and won 2 Academy Awards in 1995, Best Sound Editing and Best Sound. 67-68. 1995 to 1998, Career Fluctuations. I do love it, Shakespeare. It's like this kind of code that once you start to inhabit it with breath and sound and feeling and thought, it is the most powerful and consuming and freeing at the same time. Just, literally, elemental in sound, consonants and vowels. What I found out in doing it Hamlet was that it brought up for me all the anger that was inside me for my mother. I mean, it surprised me, just what was there, and I hadn't seen that before. Reeves on his Hamlet performance. 69. Reeves's next leading role came in the 1995 cyberpunk action thriller Johnny Mnemonic, directed by artist Robert Longo and based on the 1981 short story by William Gibson. Set in 2021, it is about a man who has a cybernetic brain implant and must deliver a data package before he dies or is killed by the Yakuza. The film received mainly negative reviews and critics felt Reeves was woefully miscast. 70 Roger Ebert opined that the film is one of the great goofy gestures of recent cinema, a movie that doesn't deserve 1 nanosecond of serious analysis but has a kind of idiotic grandeur that makes you almost forgive it. 71. He next appeared in the romantic drama A Walk in the Clouds, which also garnered mixed to negative reviews. 72 Reeves plays a young soldier returning home from World War II, trying to settle down with a woman he married impulsively just before he enlisted. Film critic Mick LaSalle opined that A Walk in the Clouds is for the most part a beautiful, well-acted, and emotionally rich picture, whereas Hal Hinson from the Washington Post said, "The film has the syrupy, Kodak magic moment look of a Bo Derek movie, and pretty much the same level of substance." 73-74. Besides film work, Reeves retreated briefly to the theater playing Prince Hamlet in a 1995 Manitoba Theatre Centre production of Hamlet in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 75 The Sunday Times critic Roger Lewis believed his performance, writing he quite embodied the innocence, the splendid fury, the animal grace of the leaps and bounds, the emotional violence, that form the Prince of Denmark. He is one of the top 3 Hamlets I have seen, for a simple reason, he is Hamlet. 76 In 1996, Reeves was soon drawn to science fiction roles, appearing in Chain Reaction with co-stars Morgan Freeman, Rachel Weisz, Fred Ward, Kevin Dunn, and Brian Cox. He plays a researcher of a green energy project, who has to go on the run when he is framed for murder. The film gained a mostly negative reaction. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave it a rating of 16% and described it as a men-on-the-run thriller that mostly sticks to generic formula. 77 Reeves's film choices after Chain Reaction were also critical disappointments. He starred in the independent crime comedy Feeling Minnesota, with Vincent D'Onofrio and Cameron Diaz, which was described as shoddily assembled, and fundamentally miscast by Rotten Tomatoes. 78. Reeves turned down an offer to star in the 1997 film Speed 2, Cruise Control, despite being offered a salary of $12 million. 79 According to Reeves, this decision caused 20th Century Fox to sever ties with him for a decade. 80 Instead, Reeves toured with his band Dogstar, and appeared in the drama The Last Time I Committed Suicide, based on a 1950 letter written by Neil Cassidy to Jack Kerouac. Reeves's performance gained mixed reviews. Paul Tatara of CNN called him void of talent. Here he is again, reciting his lines as if they're non-related words strung together as a memory exercise. 81 Whereas Empire magazine thought Reeves gives the nearest thing to a performance in his career as the enthusiastic feckless drunk. 82 He starred in the 1997 supernatural horror The Devil's Advocate alongside Al Pacino and Charlize Theron. Reeves agreed to a pay cut of several $1 million so that the film studio could afford to hire Pacino. 83 Based on Andrew Niederman's novel of the same name, the feature is about a successful young lawyer invited to New York City to work for a major firm, who discovers the owner of the firm is a devil. The Devil's Advocate attracted positive reviews from critics. 84 Film critic James Berardinelli called the film highly enjoyable and wrote, "There are times when Reeves lacks the subtlety that would have made this a more multi-layered portrayal, but it's nevertheless a solid job." 85. 1999 to 2004, resurgence with the Matrix franchise and comedies. Reeves promoting The Day the Earth Stood Still in Mexico, 2008. Reeves promoting The Day the Earth Stood Still in Mexico, 2008. In 1999, Reeves starred in the critically acclaimed science fiction film The Matrix, the first installment in what would become the Matrix franchise. 86 Reeves portrays computer programmer Thomas Anderson, a hacker using the alias Neo, who discovers humanity is trapped inside a simulated reality created by intelligent machines. To prepare for the film, which was written and directed by the Wachowskis, Reeves had read Kevin Kelly's Out of Control, The New Biology of Machines, Social Systems, and the Economic World, and Dylan Evans's Ideas on Evolutionary Psychology. The principal cast underwent months of intense training with martial arts choreographer Yun Wu-ping to prepare for the fight scenes. 87 The Matrix proved to be a box office success. Several critics considered it to be one of the best science fiction films of all time. 88-89 Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times felt it was a wildly cinematic futuristic thriller that is determined to overpower the imagination, despite perceiving weaknesses in the film's dialogue. 90 Janet Maslin of the New York Times credited Reeves for being a strikingly chic Prada model of an action hero, and thought the martial arts stunts were the film's strongest feature. 91 The Matrix received Academy Awards for Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound. 92. After the success of The Matrix, Reeves avoided another blockbuster in favor of the 2000 sports comedy The Replacements. He agreed to a pay cut to enable Gene Hackman to co-star in the film. 83 Against his wishes, Reeves starred in the thriller The Watcher, playing a serial killer who stalks a retired FBI agent. He said that a friend forged his signature on a contract, which he could not prove. He appeared in the film to avoid legal action. 93 Upon its release, the film was critically panned. 94 That year, he had a supporting role in another thriller, Sam Raimi's The Gift, a story about a woman, played by Cate Blanchett, with extrasensory perception asked to help find a young woman who disappeared. The film grossed $44 million worldwide. 95 Film critic Paul Clinton of CNN thought the film was fairly compelling, saying of Reeves's acting, "Raimi managed to get a performance out of Reeves that only occasionally sounds like he's reading his lines from the back of a cereal box." 96. In 2001, Reeves continued to explore and accept roles in a diverse range of genres. The first was a romantic drama, Sweet November, a remake of the 1968 film. This was his second collaboration with Charlize Theron. The film was met with a generally negative reception. 97 Desson Thompson of the Washington Post criticized it for its syrupy cliches, greeting card wisdom, and over-the-top tragicomedy, but commended Reeves for his likability factor in every performance he gives. 98 Later that year, Hardball marked Reeves's attempt in another sports comedy. Directed by Brian Robbins, it is based on the book Hardball, a season in the projects by Daniel Coyle. Reeves plays Connor O'Neill, a troubled young man who agrees to coach a little league team from the Cabrini Green housing project in Chicago as a condition of obtaining a loan. Film critic Roger Ebert noted the film's desire to tackle difficult subjects and baseball coaching, but felt it lacked depth, and Reeves's performance was glum and distant. 99. By 2002, his professional music career had come to an end when Dogstar disbanded. The band had released 2 albums during their decade together, Our Little Visionary in 1996 and Happy Ending in 2000. 100 Sometime afterwards, Reeves performed in the band Becky for a year, founded by Dogstar bandmate Male House, but quit in 2005, citing a lack of interest in a serious music career. 101-102 After being absent from the screen in 2002, Reeves returned to the Matrix sequels in 2003 with The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, released in May and November, respectively. Principal photography for both films was completed back-to-back, primarily at Fox Studios in Australia. 103 The Matrix Reloaded garnered mostly favorable reviews. John Powers of LA Weekly praised the dazzling pyrotechnics but was critical of certain machine-like action scenes. Of Reeves's acting, Powers thought it was somewhat wooden but felt he has the ability to exude a charmed aura. 104 Andrew Walker, writing for the Evening Standard, praised the cinematography. Visually it gives full value as a virtuoso workout for your senses, but he was less taken by the film's dime store philosophy. 105 The film grossed $739 million worldwide. 106 The Matrix Revolutions, the third installment, was met with mixed reception. According to review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the consensus was that characters and ideas take a backseat to the special effects. 107 Paul Clinton, writing for CNN, praised the special effects but felt Reeves's character was unfocused. 108 In contrast, the San Francisco Chronicle's Carla Meyer was highly critical of the special effects, writing, "The Wachowskis' computer-generated imagery goes from dazzling to deadening in action scenes that favor heavy, clanking weaponry over the martial arts moves that thrilled viewers of The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded." 109. Nevertheless, the film grossed $427 million worldwide, although less than the 2 previous films. 110 Something's Gotta Give, a romantic comedy, was Reeves's last release of 2003. He co-starred with Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton, and played Dr. Julian Mercer in the film. Something's Gotta Give received generally favorable reviews. 111. 2005 to 2013, thrillers, documentaries, and directorial debut. Reeves, dressed in a gray suit, waving to the crowd at the Berlin Film Festival, February 2009. Reeves at the Berlin International Film Festival in 2009. In 2005, Reeves played John Constantine in Constantine, an occult detective film, about a man who has the ability to perceive and communicate with half angels and half demons. The film was a respectable box office hit, grossing $230 million worldwide from a $100 million budget, but attracted mixed to positive reviews. 112 The Sydney Morning Herald's critic wrote that Constantine isn't bad, but it doesn't deserve any imposing adjectives. It's occasionally cheesy, sometimes enjoyable, intermittently scary, and constantly spiked with celestial blathers kite. 113 He next appeared in Thumbsucker, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2005. 114 A comedy adapted from the 1999 novel by Walter Kern, the story follows a boy with a thumb-sucking problem. Reeves and the cast garnered positive critical reviews, with the Washington Post describing it as a gently stirring symphony about emotional transition filled with lovely musical passages and softly nuanced performances. 115. In 2006, Reeves appeared in the Richard Linklater-directed animated science fiction thriller A Scanner Darkly, which premiered at the 2006 Cannes Film Festival. 116 Reeves played Bob Arctor/Fred, an undercover agent in a futuristic dystopia under high-tech police surveillance. Based on the 1977 novel by Philip K. Dick, the film was a box office failure. 117 However, the film attracted generally favorable reviews. Paul Arendt of the BBC thought the film was beautiful to watch, but that Reeves was outshone by his co-star Robert Downey Jr. 118 His next role was Alex Weiler in The Lake House, a romantic drama adaptation of the 2000 South Korean film I El Maire, which reunited him with Sandra Bullock. Despite its box office success, 120 Mark Kermode of The Guardian was highly critical, writing this syrup-drenched supernatural whimsy achieves stupidity at a genuinely international level. The last time Bullock and Reeves were together on screen, the result was Speed. This should have been entitled Stop. 121 Towards the end of 2006, he co-narrated The Great Warming with Alanis Morissette, a documentary about climate change mitigation. 122. In 2008, Reeves collaborated with director David Ayer on the crime thriller Street Kings. He played an undercover policeman who must clear his name after the death of another officer. Released on April 11, the film grossed a moderate $66 million worldwide. 123 The film's plot and Reeves' performance, however, were met with mostly unenthusiastic reviews. Paul Burns of the Sydney Morning Herald stated, "It's full of twists and turns, a dead body in every reel, but it's not difficult to work out who's betraying whom, and that's just not good enough." 124 The Guardian opined that Reeves is fundamentally blank and uninteresting. 125 Reeves starred in another science fiction film, The Day the Earth Stood Still, a loose adaptation of the 1951 film. He portrayed Clayton, an alien sent from outer space to try to change human behavior or eradicate humans because of their environmental impact. At the 2009 Razzie Awards, the film was nominated for Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel. 126 Many critics were unimpressed with the heavy use of special effects. The Telegraph credited Reeves's ability to engage the audience, but thought the cinematography was abysmal and the sub-Al Gore environment lecture leaves you lightheaded with tedium. 127-128. Reeves and Tiger Chen, 2013. Tiger Chen and Reeves at the 2013 Fantastic Fest. Rebecca Miller's The Private Lives of Pipoli was Reeves's sole release of 2009, which premiered at the 59th Berlin International Film Festival. 129 The romantic comedy and its ensemble received an amicable review from The Telegraph's David Gridden. Miller's film is a triumph. Uniformly well acted, it boasts a psychologically knowing script, clearly written by a smart, assertive human. 130 in 2010, he starred in another romantic comedy, Henry's Crime, about a man who is released from prison for a crime he did not commit, but then targets the same bank with his former cellmate. The film was not a box office hit. 131 Reeves's only work in 2011 was an adult picture book titled Ode to Happiness, which he wrote, complemented by Alexandra Grant's illustrations. 133 Reeves co-produced and appeared in a 2012 documentary, Side by Side. He interviewed filmmakers including James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, and Christopher Nolan. The feature investigated digital and photochemical film creation. 134 Reeves then starred in Generation an independent drama which was critically panned. 135. In 2013, Reeves starred in his own directorial debut, the martial arts film Man of Tai Chi. The film has multilingual dialogue and follows a young man drawn to an underground fight club, partially inspired by the life of Reeves' friend Tiger Chen. Principal photography took place in China and in Hong Kong. Reeves was also assisted by Yuen Woo-ping, the fight choreographer of the Matrix films. 136 Man of Tai Chi premiered at the Beijing Film Festival and the Cannes Film Festival 137-138 and received praise from director John Woo. 139 A wider, warm response followed suit. Bilge Eberi of Vulture thought the fight sequences were beautifully assembled, and Reeves showed restraint with the film editing to present the fighters' motion sequences. 140 The Los Angeles Times wrote, the brutally efficient shooting style Reeves employs to film master choreographer Yuen Woo-ping's breathtaking fights, is refreshingly grounded and old-school kinetic. 141 While Dave McGinn of the Globe and Mail called the film ambitious but generic. 142 At the box office, Man of Tai Chi was a commercial disappointment, grossing only $5.5 million worldwide from a budget of $25 million. 144 Also in 2013, Reeves played Kai in the fantasy 47 Ronin, a Japanese fable about a group of rogue samurai. The film premiered in Japan but failed to gain traction with audiences. Reviews were not positive, causing Universal Pictures to reduce advertising for the film elsewhere. 47 Ronin was a box office flop and was mostly poorly received. 145. 2014 to 2022, resurgence with John Wick. After another series of commercial failures, Reeves has made a career comeback in 2014, playing the title role in the action thriller John Wick, directed by Chad Stahelski. In the first installment of the John Wick franchise, Reeves plays a retired hitman seeking vengeance. He worked closely with the screenwriter to develop the story. We all agreed on the potential of the project. I love the role, but you want the whole story, the whole ensemble to come to life, Reeves said. 146 Filmed on location in the New York City area, the film was eventually released on October 24 in the United States. 147 The Hollywood Reporter was impressed by the director's confident, muscular action debut, and Reeves's effortless performance, which marked his return to the action genre. 148 Jeanette Katsoulis of the New York Times praised Reeves's fight scenes and wrote he is always more comfortable in roles that demand cool over hot, attitude over emotion. 149 John Wick proved to be a box office success, grossing $86 million worldwide. 150 In 2015, Reeves starred in a smaller-scale horror feature, Knock Knock, a remake of the 1977 film Death Game. Described as over-the-top destruction by the Toronto Star, Reeves plays a father, home alone, when two young women show up and start a game of cat and mouse. 151 His other releases in 2015 were the documentaries Deep Web, about crime on the dark web, and Mifune, The Last Samurai, about the life of Toshiro Mifune, famous for playing samurai characters. He narrated both films. 152-153. Reeves appeared in 5 film releases in 2016. The first was Exposed, a crime thriller about a detective who investigates his partner's death and discovers police corruption along the way. The film received negative reviews for its confused plot, and Reeves was criticized for displaying limited facial expressions. 154-155 his next release, the comedy Keanu, was better received. 156 in it he voiced the eponymous kitten. Reeves then had a minor role in The Neon Demon, a psychological horror directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. He played Hank, a lustful motel owner who appears in Jesse's, played by Elle Fanning, Nightmare. 157 in his 4th release, he played a charismatic leader of a settlement in The Bad Batch. 158 his final release of the year was The Whole Truth, featuring Gabriel Basso, Gugum Bathara, Renee Zellweger, and Jim Belushi. He played Richard, a defense attorney. Noel Murray of the AV Club described it as moderately clever, reasonably entertaining courtroom drama, with a skilled cast but overall a mundane film. 159 Reeves also appeared in Swedish Dicks, a 2-season web television series. 160. In 2017, Reeves agreed to reprise his role for a sequel in the John Wick franchise, John Wick, Chapter 2. The story carries on from the first film and follows John Wick as he goes on the run when a bounty is placed on him. The film was a critical and commercial success, grossing $171.5 million worldwide, more than its predecessor. 161 Chris Hewitt of Empire magazine praised Reeves's performance, which complemented his previous action roles in Point Break and Speed. 162 However, Justin Chang of the Los Angeles Times described the picture as a down and dirty B picture with a lustrous A picture soul. 163 Reeves then starred in a drama, To the Bone, in which he plays a doctor helping a young woman with anorexia. It premiered at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival, followed by distribution on Netflix in July. 165 early reviews were positive, with praise for its non-glamorized portrayal of anorexia, although the New Statesman magazine thought it was irresponsible. 166 That year, Reeves also made cameo appearances in the films A Happening of Monumental Proportions and SPF 18. 167-168. In 2018, Reeves reunited with Winona Ryder in the comedy Destination Wedding, about wedding guests who develop a mutual affection for each other. They had worked together previously in Bram Stoker's Dracula, A Scanner Darkly and The Private Lives of Pippa Lee. Reeves also co-produced and starred in 2 thrillers. Siberia, in which he plays a diamond trader who travels to Siberia to search for his Russian partner, and Replicas, which tells the story of a neuroscientist who violates laws and bioethics to bring his family back to life after they die in a car crash. Siberia was critically panned. Reviewers thought the plot was nonsensical and Reeves had little chemistry with co-star Anna Olaru. 169-170 Replicas did not fare well with critics either. The AV Club praised Reeves's performance, but gave the film a grade D, adding it is garbage. 171 It was also a box office failure, earning $9.3 million from a budget of $30 million. 171-172. Reeves in 2019. In 2019, Reeves starred in John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, the 3rd film in the series directed by Stahelski. The film takes place immediately after the events of John Wick, Chapter 2 and features new cast members including Halle Berry. The film was another box office hit, grossing $171 million in the United States and more than $155 million internationally. 173 The Globe and Mail's reviewer gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, praising the fight scenes, but felt there was aesthetic overindulgence with the cinematography. 174 The Guardian's Kath Clark questioned Reeves's acting. She wrote that he keeps his face statue still. 3 movies in, franchise bloat is beginning to set in. 175 Reeves was nominated for Favorite Male Movie Star of 2019 in the People's Choice Awards, and the film itself was nominated for Best Contemporary Film in the Art Directors Guild Awards. 177 Reeves then voiced Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4, the 4th installment of Pixar's Toy Story franchise. 178 In that same year, on April 27 and 28, a film festival was held in his honor, called KeenUCon, hosted in Glasgow, Scotland. 179 Over 2 days, 9 of his films were screened for guests. 180 Also in 2019, Reeves played a supporting role as himself in the Ali Wong-led romantic comedy Always Be My Maybe. 181 In 2019, Reeves traveled to Sao Paulo to produce a Netflix series, Conquest. 183 Footage shot for the project would remain in development hell for years due to creator Carl Rinch's erratic behavior and mental health state, which caused him to miss several deadlines and enter litigation with Netflix over the rights to the series. 184. As early as 2008, Reeves and Alex Winter had shown enthusiasm for a third Bill and Ted film, but the project went into development limbo. 185 In 2020, the third film in the franchise Bill and Ted Face the Music was released. 187 The critic from Salon magazine was disappointed in Reeves's performance, but praised the film for its message that music has the power to unite the world. 188 Leah Greenblatt of Entertainment Weekly gave the film a grade B, and complimented the on-screen chemistry between Reeves and Winter. 189 He also appeared in the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, as a tumbleweed named Sage. 190 Reeves appears as Johnny Silverhand in the video game Cyberpunk 2077. 192 In December 2021, Reeves returned to the screen for the 4th film in the Matrix franchise, The Matrix Resurrections. Carrie Anne Moss also reprised her role as Trinity. 194 The Matrix Resurrections was a box office disappointment. 195 One critic praised Reeves's and Moss's performances, but thought the film was a no-game changer. 196. 2023, present, post-John Wick. In 2023, Reeves reprised his role as the title character in John Wick, Chapter 4. 197 It received critical acclaim. Several reviewers cited the film among the greatest action films ever made. 198 199 200 He also reprised his role as Johnny Silverhand in the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, Phantom Liberty. 201 A comic book series, BRZRKR, co-written by Reeves, was published in 3 volumes starting in March 2021 and concluding in October 2023. 202 Issue number 1 sold over 615,000 copies, making it the top-selling single issue since Star Wars number 1 in 2015. 203 204 Reeves performing with Dogstar in 2024. After occasionally meeting up for jam sessions in the years following their dissolution, Dogstar began recording new material during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, which turned into a finished album, Somewhere Between the Power Lines and Palm Trees, 2023. 205 Following their first performance in 20 years at Bottle Rock Napa Valley Music Festival, 206 Reeves and the band embarked on a 25-day tour in North America and Japan in support of the album, beginning August 10 in Hermosa Beach, California. 207 208 209 In July, Boom Studios published the first issue of BRZRKR, Bloodlines, titled Poetry of Madness. 210 Reeves appeared as the featured guest for the Season 6 premiere episode of Ride with Norman Reedus, titled The Utah Desert with Keanu Reeves. 211 Cinema Blends Nick Venable said, "The installment makes for some truly heartwarming viewing for anyone who needs something to smile about." 212 In November of that year, he appeared as the host for and executive produced the 4-part documentary series Brawn, the Impossible Formula One story for Hulu and Disney+. 213 Jack Seal of The Guardian felt that Reeves was there to humanize the story, and pointed out his numerous adorable habits that most interviewers would deem unprofessional, but which don't offend. He felt that much of the emotion in the series owed to the way he gets his interviewees to open up. He often asks an emotion-based question: how did someone feel about what they did, rather than just what did they do? 214 At the end of that month, Boom Studios published the second comic in the BRZRKR Bloodline series, entitled Fallen Empire. 215 In May 2024, Netflix won litigation over the rights to the Reeves-produced Conquest series, with the footage reverting to their ownership alongside being reimbursed for $8.78 million worth of creator Carl Eric Rinch's misused production money. 216 That June, Reeves and Dogstar announced their summer vacation tour, with shows scheduled from August to September in the US and Canada. 217 On July 23, 2024, Reeves published a novel, The Book of Elsewhere, co-written with China Mieville, a telling of the story of BRZRKR. 218-219 The first issue of the second volume of the Bloodline series, A Face Full of Bullets, written with Jason Aaron and art by Francesco Manna, was released the following day after a delay from June. 220-221 Another BRZRKR Bloodline spin-off, titled The Lost Book of B, released on August 21, 2024. 222 He joined Graham Hancock in the second season of the series Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix, where he discussed his insights into storytelling as an act of preserving culture. 223 Reeves starred in the Armored Core episode of the animated anthology series Secret Level. 224 In April, Reeves was cast as the voice of Shadow the Hedgehog in the third installment of the Sonic the Hedgehog film series, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which released on December 20, 2024. He also voiced the character in a DLC for the video game Shadow Generations, developed as a tie-in for the film. 225-226 In January 2025, Reeves had an uncredited role voicing a stop-motion Lumen building in the second season of the television series Severance. 227 In June 2025, Reeves reprised his role as John Wick in the series spin-off film Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. 228-229 Reeves then starred alongside Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari in the latter's directorial debut, Good Fortune. 230 In September 2025, Reeves made his Broadway debut in a production of Waiting for Godot directed by Jamie Lloyd, alongside Bill and Ted co-star Alex Winter. 231 Upcoming projects. Reeves will star in Jonah Hill's upcoming black comedy film Outcome on Apple TV+. 232-233 Reeves is set to star in Ruben Östlund's satire film The Entertainment System is Down. 234 Reeves will co-produce a documentary film about the life of Benny Urquidez, set for release in 2025. 235 A film adaptation of BRZRKR written by Mattson Tomlin and produced by and starring Reeves is being developed for Netflix, with Reeves open to the possibility of directing. 236-237 After the release of the film, a two-season anime series also planned for release on Netflix and produced by Production I.G is planned to follow. 238 A fifth film in the John Wick series was planned by distributor Lionsgate. 239-240 but franchise director Chad Stahelski had said he would like to give the franchise a rest for the time being. 241 Besides plans for a fifth film, a sequel television series titled John Wick, Under the High Table is being developed with Reeves attached as an executive producer. 242 Personal life. Alexandra Grant in May 2014. In 1998, Reeves met director David Lynch's assistant Jennifer Syme at a party thrown for his band Dogstar, and they started dating. 243 On December 24, 1999, Syme gave birth 8 months into her pregnancy to the couple's child, who was stillborn. The couple broke up several weeks afterward, but later reconciled. 244 On April 2, 2001, Syme was killed when her vehicle collided with 3 parked cars on Cahuenga Boulevard in Los Angeles. Syme had been under the influence and also not belted in. 245-246 Reeves told investigators that they were back together 244 and had brunch together in San Francisco the day before the accident. 245 Reeves acted as a pallbearer for Syme 245 who was buried next to their daughter. 247 He was scheduled to film the sequels to The Matrix the following spring, but sought peace and time, according to friend Brett Domrose of Dogstar. 245. Reeves has also been romantically linked to longtime friend and filmmaker Brenda Davis, to whose child he is godfather. 248, 249, 250 and model actress China Chow. 251, 252 Reeves also maintains a close friendship with his Bram Stoker's Dracula co-star Winona Ryder. After taking part in a wedding scene with a Romanian priest for the film, they still call each other husband and wife when speaking personally. 253 In 2009, Reeves met Alexandra Grant at a dinner party. They went on to collaborate on 2 books together. 254, 255 They went public with their relationship in November 2019. 31 256. Reeves is discreet about his spiritual beliefs, saying that it is something personal and private. 257 When asked if he was a spiritual person, he said that he believes in God, faith, inner faith, the self, passion, and things, and that he is very spiritual. 258 Although he does not formally practice Buddhism, the religion has left a strong impression on him, especially after filming Little Buddha. 63 He said, "Most of the things I've come away with from Buddhism have been human understanding feelings, impermanence, and trying to understand other people and where they're coming from." 63. In 2023, the lipopeptide kinemycin, a substance deadly to fungi, was named in honor of Reeves. 259. In 2024, Reeves spoke on his thoughts about mortality, saying, "I'm thinking about death all the time. That's a good thing. Hopefully it's not crippling, but hopefully it sensitizes us to an appreciation of the breath we have, and the relationships that we have the potential to have." 260. On October 5th, Reeves made his motorsport debut in the Toyota GR Cup North America, where he finished in 25th on Race 1 and 24th on Race 2 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 261, 262. Business and philanthropy. Mural of Reeves in Santiago de Chile. Reeves supports several charities and causes. In response to his sister's battle with leukemia, he founded a private cancer foundation, which aids children's hospitals and provides cancer research. 263, 264 In June 2020, he volunteered for Camp Rainbow Gold, an Idaho children's cancer charity. 265 Reeves was also recognized as one of the 100 influential celebrities in oncology by OncoDaily. 266 Reeves has said, "Money is the last thing I think about. I could live on what I have already made for the next few centuries." 267 It was rumored that Reeves gave away a substantial portion, estimated to be $35 to $125 million, of his earnings from The Matrix to the special effects and makeup crews. However, this has been significantly embellished. Reeves negotiated a smaller deal, relinquishing his contractual right to a percentage of the sequel's profits in exchange for a more extensive special effects budget. 268, 269 During production on that film, Reeves heard that a crew member was having family trouble, and elected to gift the man $20,000 to help him with his finances. $270 as a wrap gift for the 12-person stunt team of The Matrix Reloaded. 2003, Reeves purchased Harley-Davidson motorcycles for each of the members, saying of the gifts, "I just wanted to give a bigger thank you to all these guys who helped me make this." 271. 272. After filming John Wick, Chapter 4, Reeves, Chad Stahelski and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor Dave Camarillo signed an exclusive training uniform that was put up for auction in March 2023 to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. 273. Reeves also presented his personal stunt team for the film with engraved custom Rolex Submariner watches, and bought the larger Chapter 4 stunt crews each personalized t-shirts indicating how many times that the various extras they portrayed died in the film. 271. 272. In 2024, Reeves signed a one-day contract with the Windsor Spitfires, and signed items which were auctioned off in benefit of the Canadian Mental Health Association of Windsor, Essex. 274. Reeves co-founded a production company, Company Films, with friend Stephen Hamill. 275. In 2011, Reeves, an avid motorcyclist, co-founded Arch Motorcycle Company, which builds and sells custom motorcycles, with Gard Hollinger. 276. 277. In 2017, Reeves, Jessica Fleischman, and Alexandra Grant founded book publisher, X Artists Books, also known as XAB. 278. 254. He has written 2 books with Grant, Ode to Happiness and Shadows. He provided the text to her photographs and art. 279. Censorship. In 2022, Reeves's recitation of the beat poem Oh My Daisy for a virtual benefit concert for Tibet House US, a non-profit organization affiliated with the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, stirred a negative reaction from jingoistic crowds on Chinese social media. 280. 281. 282. Reeves's films have subsequently been banned from streaming platforms in China such as iQIYI, Tencent Video, and Youku. 283. 284. In the media. Reeves star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Reeves star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In a 2005 article for Time magazine, Lev Grossman called Reeves Hollywood's ultimate introvert. 285. He has been described as a workaholic, charming, and excruciatingly shy. During the production of Constantine, director Francis Lawrence commented on his personality, calling him hardworking and generous. His co-star Shia LaBeouf said, "I've worked with him for a year and a couple of months, but I don't really know him that much." 285. Erwin Stoff of 3 Arts Entertainment has served as Reeves's agent and manager since he was 16, and produced many of his films. Stoff said Reeves is a really private person and keeps his distance from other people. 285. 286. In 2023, Reeves's frequent collaborator Laurence Fishburne remarked on him, "He's kinder, yeah. He's much kinder than people say he is. He's a very gentle, highly intelligent man. Really thoughtful and gifted and incredibly patient. Yeah, he has a lot of grace, Keanu." 287. Aziz Ansari, who directed and starred with Reeves in Good Fortune, joked that he actually is an angel, and that he's been pretending to be human for all these other roles. 288. In a 2024 interview with People magazine, Hiroyuki Sanada said, "He is so humble, very kind to others but very hard on himself. He's always trying to do his best, aim higher, move forward." 289. In 2010, an image of Reeves became an internet meme after photographs of him were published, sitting on a park bench with a sad facial expression. The images were posted on the 4chan discussion board and were soon distributed via several blogs and media outlets, leading to the sad Keanu meme being spread on the internet. An unofficial holiday was created when a Facebook fan page declared June 15th as Cheer Up Keanu Day. 255-290. He would later downplay the photo, saying, "Man, I was eating a sandwich. I was thinking I had some stuff going on. I was hungry." 291. Reeves's casual persona and ability to establish rapport have been observed by the public, leading him to be dubbed the internet's boyfriend. 292, 293, 294. In 2019, Vox cited Reeves's unorthodox filmography and ability to appeal to nerd culture as the primary reasons for his internet popularity. 295. Screen Rant assessed that Reeves is commonly considered one of the kindest, most thoughtful actors in Hollywood. 271. The Guardian noted that he holds a reputation as one of the nicest, humblest guys on the Hollywood A-list. 219. And the BBC wrote that he is known for his gentle, mild-mannered persona, and is often described as the nicest man in Hollywood. 296. Time dubbed Reeves as the master of the fan encounter. 297. And Snopes observed that he is so beloved that he's a cultural fixture. 298. In March 2019, Reeves went viral after his United Airlines flight to Burbank, California was grounded in Bakersfield. Taking initiative in arranging alternate travel plans, Reeves boarded a travel van with the other passengers. Reeves read fun facts from his phone about Bakersfield to the passengers, and later used YouTube to play them 1950s American country music that was native to the town. 299. Time said of the events, "One thing's for certain after this eventful trip, if you're looking for a road trip buddy, Keanu Reeves should be on the top of your list." 300. Reeves again gained media attention in May when a clip of his guest episode on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert went viral online. Colbert asked at the end of the show about his views on death, then Reeves answered, "I know that the ones who love us will miss us." The response incited an emotional reaction from the audience, and Colbert shook Reeves's hand before wrapping up the show. 301. Vice's River Donaghy declared that Keanu is my new religion in response to the clip, and called the moment transcendent. 302. The New Yorker called it a response so wise, so genuinely thoughtful, that it seemed like a rebuke to the usual canned blather of late-night television. Staff writer Naomi Fry recounted that she felt like she was standing alone in a rock garden, having a koan whispered into her ear after watching the viral clip on Twitter. 303. The interaction would later inspire science communicator Hank Green to end his Pissing Out Cancer comedy special, based on his experiences fighting Hodgkin's lymphoma, with a quote inspired by Reeves's answer, "Either way, what comes next is going to be beautiful." In choosing the ending, he felt that Reeves's words reflected a larger understanding of the human experience. 304. While filming Bill and Ted Face the Music in July 2019, Reeves and other cast members came across a house with a banner reading "You're breathtaking and many Keanu," two memes that had come out of Reeves's appearance at the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2019 for the game Cyberpunk 2077. Reeves took time to sign the banner, and talk to the family. 305. Business Insider reported that the actor's fans were quick to praise him in response to the incident, calling him good guy Keanu and lauding him as the best human on the planet. 306. In August 2022, Reeves went viral for attending a fan's wedding in Northamptonshire, United Kingdom. James and Nikki Road Knight saw Reeves at a bar at Fossley Hall Hotel shortly before their marriage ceremony and started to chat with him, with Reeves congratulating the couple on their marriage. Later, after James had secretly asked Reeves to meet Nikki during the wedding, he turned up during the ceremony. 307. Nikki described Reeves as a genuinely kind guy and relaxed and down to earth during the wedding, and he participated in a photo shoot with the family. 308. Another interaction between Reeves at an October 2023 Dogstar concert in Houston gained media attention. A young fan named Elijah approached Reeves before they started their show, asking if Reeves would play catch with him. Reeves obliged, with a game ensuing between the two. Calling the game the top moment of his life, the boy stated his intent to keep the football forever and ever. 309-310 Oliver Browning of The Independent called the interaction a wholesome moment for Reeves. 311. Reeves appeared on Forbes' annual Celebrity 100 list in 2001 and 2002, at number 36 and 49, respectively. 312-313 In 2005, Reeves received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his contributions to the motion picture industry. 314 In 2016, The Hollywood Reporter calculated that Reeves had earned $250 million for the Matrix franchise, making him one of the highest-paid actors. 315 In 2020, The New York Times ranked him at number 4 on its list of the 25 greatest actors of the 21st century. 316. A popular meme asserts that Reeves is secretly immortal and has lived throughout the last millennia under the identities of several historical figures, including Charlemagne and French actor Paul Mounet. 317. The meme came to media prominence in 2017 when Reeves was asked by Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show about it. Reeves addressed his resemblance with Charlemagne, saying, "We have a likeness in the eyes, and the nose and the mustache and the beard and the cheekbones and the forehead." 318-319 When asked in a Q&A event for John Wick, Chapter 4 if he ever ages, Reeves responded, "Yeah man, I age. I age. It's happening, man." 320 In 2023, a website dedicated to chronicling every time Reeves has spoken the word "whoa" in his film career was created by web developer Avi Mamenko to honor him. 321 In 2022, Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. 322. Filmography and awards. Main articles: Keanu Reeves filmography and awards and nominations. Reeves, right, receiving the Inkpot Award in 2024. Prolific in film since 1985, Reeves's most acclaimed and highest-grossing films, according to the review aggregate site Rotten Tomatoes, include River's Edge, 1987, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, My Own Private Idaho, 1991, Much Ado About Nothing, 1993, Speed, 1994, The Matrix, 1999, John Wick, 2014, John Wick, Chapter 2, 2017, John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, 2019, and Toy Story 4, 2019. 323 Reeves has won 4 MTV Movie Awards, 51 324 325 and received 2 Best Actor nominations at the Saturn Awards. 326 He was nominated twice for a People's Choice Award, Favorite Male Movie Star and Favorite Action Movie Star, for his performance in John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, 2019. 327. In November 2015, People retroactively named him 1994's Sexiest Man Alive. 328 In September 2021, Taekwondo Life magazine deemed Reeves the #1 martial arts movie star in the world based upon his multiple films in the genre, their popularity, and sheer box office gross. 329 In 2024, Gold House honored him on its Most Impactful Asians A100 list 330, and he was presented with the Inkpot Award for lifetime contributions to movies, TV, comics, and books at San Diego Comic-Con. Laurence John Fishburne 31, born July 30, 1961, is an American actor. Throughout his career, he has gained recognition for his roles on stage and screen as militant and authoritative characters. Fishburne first came to prominence appearing in Apocalypse Now, 1979, and achieved further recognition for his supporting role in Boys and the Hood, 1991. Later, he became known for portraying Morpheus in the Matrix trilogy, 1999 to 2003, and the Bowery King in the John Wick film series, 2017. For his portrayal of Ike Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It, 1993, Fishburne was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor. He has also won 6 Emmy Awards for various television projects, and a Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play for his performance in 2 Trains Running, 1992. He has also received nominations for a Golden Globe Award and 5 Screen Actors Guild Awards. Other notable film credits include The Color Purple, 1985, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, 1987, School Days, 1988, King of New York, 1990, Deep Cover, 1992, Searching for Bobby Fischer, 1993, Higher Learning, 1995, Event Horizon, 1997, Mystic River, 2003, Aquila and the Bee, 2006, Mission Impossible 3, 2006, Predators, 2010, Contagion, 2011, Man of Steel, 2013, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, 2016, Ant-Man and the Wasp, 2018, and The Mule, 2018. On television, he had a recurring role as Cowboy Curtis in Pee-wee's Playhouse, 1986 to 1990, starred in the CBS crime drama CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, 2008 to 2011, portrayed Jack Crawford in the NBC thriller series Hannibal, 2013 to 2015, and played Earl Pops Johnson in the ABC sitcom Blackish, 2014 to 2022. Early life. Fishburne was born in Augusta, Georgia, raised as the son of Hattie Bell, née Crawford, a junior high school mathematics and science teacher, and Lawrence John Fishburne, Jr., a juvenile corrections officer. After his parents divorced during his childhood, he moved with his mother to Brooklyn, New York, where he was raised. His father saw him once a month. 4 Fishburne is a graduate of Lincoln Square Academy in New York, which closed in the 1980s. 5. In his 40s, Fishburne learned that Lawrence John Fishburne, Jr. was not his biological father. In 2025, on an episode of Finding Your Roots, Fishburne learned that his biological father was a man named William Zygel Bohannon. Bohannon was a member of the U.S. military stationed at Fort Gordon when he met Fishburne's mother, who was a volunteer for the USO. 6. Career. 1972 to 1989, early career and stage work. For most of his early career, he was credited as Larry Fishburne. In 1972, at the age of 11, Fishburne received positive reviews for his first acting role 7 in the initial ABC theater teleplay If You Give a Dance You Gotta Pay the Band. 8, 9, 10 Soon after, Fishburne portrayed Joshua Hall on the ABC soap opera One Life to Live. 11 His most memorable childhood role was in Cornbread, Earl, and Me 12 in which he played a young boy who witnessed the police shooting of a popular high school basketball star. He later earned a supporting role in Apocalypse Now, in which he played Tyrone Miller, a cocky 17-year-old gunner's mate third class from the Bronx, nicknamed Mr. Clean. When production began in March 1976, he was just 14 years old, having lied about his age to get the part. Filming took so long that he actually was 17 years old upon its completion. 11-13. Fishburne spent much of the 1980s in and out of television and periodically on stage. In the early 1980s, he worked as a bouncer at punk rock clubs, such as Café de Grande. 14 He appeared in the early 1980s movies Band of the Hand, Death Wish 2, and The Cotton Club and had a minor role in the critically acclaimed Steven Spielberg film The Color Purple. 15 Fishburne had a recurring role as Cowboy Curtis on Paul Rubin's CBS children's television series Pee-wee's Playhouse. 11 He also appeared in the MAS*H episode The Tooth Shall Set You Free. In Spencer, For Hire, he was a guest star for the second season episode Personal Demons. He also appeared alongside Kevin Bacon in Quicksilver. 16 His stage work during the 1980s included Short Eyes, 1984, and Loose Ends, 1987, both produced at Second Stage Theater in New York City. Also in 1987 he played a part in the Third A Nightmare on Elm Street film as a hospital orderly. 11 Fishburne featured in Red Heat, 1988, beside Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Belushi. 17 Fishburne also starred as Dap in Spike Lee's School Days, 1988. Fishburne's character was a depiction of an African-American, culturally inclined college student at a historically black college. 18 in 1989, he guest starred on the CBS action drama series The Equalizer as Casey Taylor, with actress Aletta Mitchell as Casey's wife Martha, in the season 4 episode, Race Traders. The Taylors are being terrorized by Dale Stevens, played by David Andrews, who is a KKK member trying to organize neighborhood skinheads into a larger network. 1990 to 2007, established actor and worldwide recognition. Fishburne at the National Memorial Day concert in 2017. In 1990, Fishburne played Jimmy Jump in the controversial King of New York 19 and in 1991, starred in Boys and the Hood. 20 the following year, in 1992, he won a Tony Award for his stage performance in the August Wilson play Two Trains Running 21 and an Emmy Award 22 for his performance in the opening episode, The Box, of the short-lived anthology series television drama Tribeca. 23 he also starred in Deep Cover alongside Jeff Goldblum. 24 in 1993, he received his first Oscar nomination for his portrayal of Ike Turner in What's Love Got to Do with It? 21-25 Fishburne won an Image Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture for his performance as West Indian Professor Maurice Phipps in the 1995 American drama ensemble film, Higher Learning. He played the title role in Othello, the second African-American actor, after Paul Robeson 26 to perform the role. 27-28 in 1995, Fishburne wrote, directed, and starred in the play Riff Raff at the now-defunct off-Broadway Circle Rep Theater. The cast included Titus Welliver and Heavy D, who performed a 9-minute live rap on stage. 29 in 1997, Fishburne starred in the science fiction horror event Horizon alongside Sam Neill. Fishburne is perhaps best known for his role as Morpheus, the hacker mentor of Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, in the 1999 blockbuster science fiction film The Matrix. 21. Fishburne provided the voice of Thrax in Osmosis Jones in 2001. He reprised his role as Morpheus in the Matrix sequels The Matrix Reloaded 30 and The Matrix Revolutions in 2003. 31 He briefly featured as a stretcher bearer in one version of the video for the Spooks song Things I've Seen, 2000, and appeared with Tom Cruise as Theodore Brazil, IMF superior of Cruise's character in Mission Impossible 3. 32 Fishburne has worked with actress Angela Bassett on 4 projects. He said that an electrifying thing happens when the two of us work together. I haven't experienced it with anyone else. A freedom happens when we work together. 33. In 2006, they appeared on stage in a Pasadena Playhouse production of August Wilson's Fences. 34 Fishburne also played a gay high school teacher in a Los Angeles production of Alfreduri's Without Walls in the same year. 35 He played terrorist leader, Amit, who was revealed to be CIA in the 2006 film Five Fingers. 36. He provided the voice of the narrator in the 2007 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, TMNT, which was a commercial success. 37 The same year, he provided the voice of the Silver Surfer in 2007 film Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. 38 On February 24, 2007, Fishburne was honored with the Harvard Foundation's Artist of the Year award at the annual show Cultural Rhythms. 39 He received this honor for his achievements as an actor and entertainer and for his humanitarian pursuits. Fishburne is a UNICEF ambassador. 40. 2008, present, continued acclaim and returned to stage work. In April 2008, Fishburne returned to the stage in the Broadway production of Thurgood, a new play by George Stevens, Jr. Thurgood opened at the Booth Theatre on April 30, 2008. 41 He won the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding One-Person Show for his performance. On February 24, 2011, HBO screened a filmed version of the play performed at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. 42 On February 16, 2011, the White House hosted a screening of the film as part of its celebrations of Black History Month. 43. On August 18, 2008, it was reported that Laurence Fishburne would join the cast of CSI: Crime Scene Investigation after William Peterson, who played Gil Grissom, left the series. John Malkovich was also considered for the role prior to the announcement. 44 Fishburne joined the show on the 9th episode of the 9th season as a college professor and former pathologist whose area of expertise involves some criminals' predisposition to commit acts of violence. 45 The character was introduced as a consultant on a case, 19 Down, who winds up joining the CSI team, 1 to go. In May 2009, Fishburne performed on stage in the National Memorial Day concert on the Mall in Washington, D.C. 46. Fishburne starred in Predators in 2010, 47 and Contagion in 2011. 48 On June 7, 2011, Fishburne announced that he was leaving CSI to return to movies and theater, opting not to renew his contract and would not appear in season 12. Fishburne played Perry White in the Zack Snyder-directed Superman reboot Man of Steel, 2013. 49 In 2013, Fishburne joined the cast of Hannibal, as Dr. Jack Crawford, head of behavioral sciences at the FBI. In 2014, Fishburne reprised his role as Morpheus in a series of Kia K900 commercials. 50 In 2015, Fishburne joined the ABC sitcom Blackish in the recurring role of Pops. Fishburne is also an executive producer on the show. 51 Fishburne also serves as an executive producer for the freeform sitcom Grownish, a spin-off series to Blackish. 52. In 2016, Fishburne reprised his role as White in the sequel Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice 53 and appeared in the science fiction/romance movie Passengers. In June 2017, Fishburne's production company, Cinema Gypsy Productions, signed a 2-year overall deal at ABC Studios. 54. In 2017, he appeared in the neo-noir action thriller film John Wick, Chapter 2 as the Bowery King, in his first collaboration with Keanu Reeves since the Matrix trilogy. Also in 2017, Fishburne starred in the comedy drama Last Flag Flying, as the character Rev. Richard Mueller. In 2018, Fishburne played Bill Foster in Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp, directed by Peyton Reed. The film was released July 6. 55 Fishburne served as co-creator and executive producer in the Marvel Animation/Disney television animation series Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. 56-57 He also appeared in the series as the Beyonder 58 and reprised his role as Bill Foster from Ant-Man and the Wasp. In 2020, he narrated the autobiography of Malcolm X, Audible's first ever unabridged audiobook recording. 59. In January 2023, it was announced that Fishburne had been cast as Regis in the 4th season of The Witcher. 60 He also starred in the American action spy espionage thriller, The Amateur, which was released in 2025. 61. Personal life. Fishburne married actress Keanu Moss in 1985 in New York. They have 2 children, son Langston, b. 1987, 2 and daughter Montana Fishburne, b. 1991. 260-263 Keanu and Laurence divorced in the 1990s. 5. Fishburne dated actress Victoria Dillard from 1992 to 1995. 64. Fishburne and actress Gina Torres got engaged in February 2001 and got married on September 22, 2000, and 265 at the Cloisters, a museum in New York City. On January 8, 2007, Fishburne's spokesman Alan Nairab announced that the couple were expecting a child together. 66-67 Their daughter, Delilah, was born in June 2007. 68. On September 20, 2017, it was confirmed that Torres and Fishburne were separated and had been keeping the separation private for the last year. 69 Fishburne filed for divorce on November 2, 2017. 70 He and Torres reached a final settlement on April 16, 2018, and the divorce became effective May 11, 2018. 71. Fishburne lives in Hollywood, and also maintains a residence in New York City, in the Castle Village Co-op in the Hudson Heights section of Washington Heights. 72 He is a fan of Brazilian author Paulo Coelho. In 2009 he said he was planning to produce a movie based on Coelho's novel The Alchemist. Randall Duck Kim, born September 24, 1943, is an American actor. On stage, he is known both for his extensive classical repertoire and as an interpreter of the works of playwright Frank Shin.